here. Hey, I know y'all gonna be coming in here a little late, but I'm on Spotify right now. Y'all ever see this? Like, if y'all ever play Spotify on y'all TV? Why? If you play Spotify on your TV, out of all the pictures that Luther Vandross to use, why do they use this one? This nigga look like he telling some grown husky ass nigga, "Come here, man." Luther is looking zesty than a motherfucker on this picture right here. He look like he's ready to dig in some doo-doo. Spotify, if y'all listening to me, please change this picture of Luther Vandross, please. I love his music, but this picture look like he's desiring another dude, and the picture makes me uncomfortable. Shit, I'm about to switch to a different playlist. Shit, let me do this. Yeah, listen to some Erykah Badu, goddammit. Luther look way too zesty on that. What's up though, y'all? What's up, Tasha? Hey, Tasha, we didn't finish talking on the phone. Hell, I should have been calling your ass back now instead of going live with these niggas. He said you hired listening to Michael Jackson? The nigga B probably said my swimming trunks are lined with pork skin. This nigga B Polly jacked the ice cream truck to steal its rims. And he put the rims on the ice cream truck on his 1987 Civic. This nigga B Polly got a 1987 Honda Civic with ice cream truck rims on it. Not ice cream candy paint. No. That nigga got ice cream truck rims on a motherfucking Ford Festiva. What's up, y'all? What's up, Kenneth Berry? Man, every time, hey, Kenneth Berry, I think I said it before on this channel, man, but I'm going to say it again, man. Every time I see one of your tweets and you work in those NFL games, I'm so goddamn proud of you, bruh. I'm so proud of that black man right there. I met that man when I was an Uber driver. I was never a full-time Uber driver. That was always some side money shit that I did. But I was trying to make some side money, and I picked that young brother up in his last year of college, and he was telling me that he had a show called Touchdowns and Tangents, and that he wanted to be a writer and do some shit working like covering NFL and college football games. And now every time I look at that nigga's social media, he at the NFL offices right over here in Inglewood complaining about some concert being too loud so he can't write his articles and shit. Y'all know I don't fuck with the NFL no more. I don't fuck with football. But damn, my personal views ain't got shit on a black man being successful doing what he want to do. I love watching niggas win, man. I don't know, but see, I'm different than that. That's why I don't know. I'm different. A lot of people say they like watching people win. Nah. I don't say that shit. I live that shit. I live that shit. For those of you asking, Dwan, why aren't you? I know it's gonna be somebody talking about something. You should be on camera. I was on camera yesterday, motherfucker. Shit. If you want to know what I look like, watch the last video that I uploaded. I'm rolling my weed right now. I'm rolling weed. I got Jayla the Self-Esteem Queen, Operation SEQ Hope. I got her candles burning right now. Excuse my messy ass table, but that's look at the quality of Jayla's candles. Look at this, man. No, that shit is lightthemood.com. Y'all see that? I got two of her candles sitting here, but I only got one of them lit. I got my beautiful AirPod Maxes right on the side of that, but these are Jayla's candles right here. Light the Mood. Oh, these are my crystals right here. Yes, I do fuck with crystals in the dark. That's my. I got see that big old rose quartz. Got a big ass carnelian right here. Got a green calcite. All that shit. I ain't turning my lights on though. Fuck that. I ain't letting niggas all inside my house look. If you can't see, use your imagination. I got a deck of playing cards right here because you know I be reading, motherfuckers. What's up, Torian Rain Reloaded? Man, that's some good work. Man, I love. Man, y'all better subscribe to Torian Rain Reloaded. Y'all better to subscribe to his channel. Torian Rain be having these breakdowns on shit, and he be sounding like the most intelligent, angry, yet friendly black man you'd ever want to meet in your life. It's like you can listen to the levels of festivity in Torian Rain's voice when he's talking. But he's professional when he's good. Torian Rain be like, this, if you look at this person right here, they obviously don't know what they're doing when they're dealing with the system of white supremacy. I don't want any excuses that they're naive. And Torian Rain will just like smoothly break shit down. You'd be like, this brother right here. Love that brother's channel. What's up, Pete Rothstein? I ain't seen you in a minute. Oh, the voting video, all that new shit. Yeah, man, fuck these Democrats. These Democrats are insulting us. What was the video? What was that slogan they had in that video? They're talking about some. They're basically saying no. Hey, somebody in the chat room. What was the little word? They had some funny, weird-ass word they were using about voting. They're basically trying to say no sex unless you vote, but it was some gay-ass dude. And no disrespect to the gay-ass dudes out there, but that commercial was weird. Democrats is fucking with us right now, man. What else y'all talking about? Somebody gonna say something. Oh yeah, no vote, no vucking. Yeah, vucking. No vote, no vucking. No vote, no vucking. We gotta talk about that. I might change the title of this video to that. Vuck you, motherfucker. That's what I gotta say to that. No vote, no vucking. You kiss my fucking ass, motherfucker. These fuck-faced motherfuckers. Also, no vote, no vucking. No. How about on the first Tuesday of November, when it's time to vote, instead of voting, I'll be vucking. And lots of it. How about that? Let's do that, black people. Let's turn election day into vucking day. Say, I wanted to vote for you, Karen Bass, but my woman's body was calling for me. How about that, Karen Bass? How about that, Joe Biden and all the Democrats and all you motherfuckers? I wasn't voting because my woman's body was calling for me. Arvelli, nigga. No vote, no vucking. See, that's what Voteps say. Voteps say no vote, no vucking. Black people, what do y'all really think about that? I want, like, we saw it in 2020 with that what did they say, get your holes to the polls? Isn't that what they said? Something to the, I refresh my memory for those of you who live down in Atlanta, especially. Atlanta, Atlanta, y'all, what the fuck is wrong with Atlanta? You. Oh, well, I'm gonna leave Atlanta alone from now. This ain't about Atlanta, but Atlanta had some shit similar last in 2020. Get your whole to the polls, or it was some weird shit. What's up, Smoke Spitter? What's up, Josh Hawkins? Josh Hawkins looked like he sing background for Cool in the game. What did Yvonne Orji do? Somebody said Yvonne Orji why? What's up, Brandon Terry? What did Yvonne Orji do? And I saw that show. My man Chinadu was on that show, man. I don't fuck with nothing Yvonne Orji does, but I will say this. She's been paying my man Chinadu. My man Chinadu's behind a lot of her funny. And Chinadu, he started comedy with all of us. Me, London Brown, Big Craig, Big Jai. Chinadu was also part of that crew. Hell, one of my first road gigs was with Chinadu. Chinadu took me on one of my first road gigs. Early on in comedy. Early on. Oh yeah, get your booty to the polls. That's what they were saying. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know Yvonne Orji. She doesn't, her work, I don't know. I'll tell you this though. My homeboy, Chinadu, the one writing for Yvonne Orji, now that nigga is worth being, that dude is worth getting some stand-up specials. My man Chinadu knows how to put together a joke. Chinadu definitely deserves a look. Definitely. But I don't know about Yvonne Orji. I don't know how she got it. I don't know. She know the right people, I guess. I don't know. I'm not hating on it. Yeah. I'm not hating on it. I'm just, yeah. Because comedy and entertainment today isn't about the best player, but the best person. It's about the agenda. And the same thing with sports. The NBA is going to be, y'all know how much I love NBA basketball. I love basketball. But I'm telling you right now, the quality of NBA basketball in 10 or 15 years ain't going to be where it is right now. See, I'm not one of them old niggas that hate on the young niggas. NBA basketball now, I think the prime of the NBA, the prime of competitiveness in the NBA was between 2007 and 2015. No, I would say 2003 to 2015 was the most diverse era as far as teams going to NBA, talent being spread around. And even though LeBron tried to super team it up, his ass being a mental midget and not being able to close out games still allow other teams to win championships. But with the NBA right now is doing what Hollywood is doing. The NBA, you see what they're doing. Giannis immigrant, they're trying to make him the face, him or the white boy in Denver. Giannis got more MVPs than Kobe. Think about that for a second. Giannis got more defensive player of the years than Kobe. And that white boy in Denver, he got more MVPs than Shaq. Think about that for a second. NBA is doing everything it can do to put. They've given up. They still got the white boy from Denver that they're putting a face on, and Luka. But if they can't get a white boy, it's gonna be a Nigerian or somebody else. They don't fuck with foundational Black American. In order for an FBA to win league MVP, he has to do something like Russell Westbrook did, and that's like break the average or triple double for a season, and he only did that shit. Now that was the first time in 60 years that was done or some shit like that, 40 years. James Harden got an average, nigga, a quadruple double to get an MVP. You know, If your name ain't LeBron James just gets MVPs because he's the person that the NBA makes the money off of. But the NBA don't fuck with us, and the quality of their product is gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse. Watch. What y'all talking about in the chat room? You niggas chatting? I ain't seen nobody writing nothing since 6:26 p.m. The fuck is wrong with my chat room? There it is. There we go. There we go. I got my blunt lit now. I'm ready to talk. But yeah, they I don't know what's going on. Okay, now, man, what the fuck is wrong with my chat? My chat is like way behind. Yeah. What up, Bruce? I don't know if you just wrote that or wrote that 10 minutes ago. I don't know what the fuck is going on with my chat. Well, anyway, since I can't read what y'all saying like that, I might as well just go on my tangent. But yeah, the NBA is going in that same direction as Hollywood, where they're replacing the blackface. And let me say something about that. I'm not mad. It doesn't bother me that they're doing this. It doesn't bother me that they're doing this. Why don't it bother me? Why don't it bother me that they're doing this? Because like I said on my show before, black people, black men especially, we take basketball way, way too serious. We take it way too, and I love basketball. See me, I'm different. I love basketball. For me, I teach like basketball. Basketball was my first rule. That was my first introduction into really teaching. I tutored before that, but when it came to teaching, basketball is really where I got polished at teaching. Because sports basketball is a simulation of war and war strategies, but it's not only is it a simulation of war, it's also a simulation on basic human interaction, knowing when to be the star, knowing when to back down and be a role player, knowing when to set something up for somebody else so the whole team can win, knowing when it's your turn to set the rest of the team up, knowing that you must always have a good defense, knowing all these principles of life philosophies. The philosophical game planning behind winning a basketball game is the same philosophical game plan to life. And that's why I like it so much. And I'm a basketball nerd. I love the X's and O's. But unfortunately, too many black men have a... Oh, you said you still here is 9:31? It's past 9:31, ain't it? I don't know what the fuck going on. But sports, as much as I love it, we as black men have not been responsible with how we handle it. So, because we haven't been responsible with how we handle sports, I'm okay with them bringing in Africans because remember the NBA setup has a league in Africa now. You ever ask yourself why do they have a whole? See, the NBA spent a lot of money during the 90s in Europe in developing European basketball during the 90s. And in the 2000s, the NBA invested a lot in China. With Yao Ming and Wang Zhuzhu and Jeremy Lin is Taiwan, but the NBA invested a lot in China in the 2000s. Now the NBA, but at the end of the day, no matter how much lipstick they try to put on Luka Doncic, that motherfucker's never gonna be a beauty queen. They're trying to force him down our throat, but he's about to be figured out. Maybe this season or next. Either this might be Luka's last great season, if this season. But the league, when it comes to European players, usually by their fifth season, it happened with Manu Ginobili, happened with Kevin Love. Well, Kevin Love was partially a victim of LeBron James telling him to go sit his ass in the corner. But we can go down a list of European players who started out hot. Big Z's, the Jonas Ilgauskas. We can go down a list with all the Europeans who started out hot. And then by the time you get to 5-6 years into their career, they're average. Because the NBA, you got to keep getting better and better and better. And the white boys got a ceiling. The niggas don't. The only white boy who stayed consistently getting better throughout his career really was Dirk Nowitzki. Pau Gasol was great, but Pau Gasol was also 7-1. But you saw what happened when he left Kobe. Pau Gasol wasn't shit when he left Kobe. But Dirk was really the only European that consistently got better throughout his career. Dirk Nowitzki, that's it. I doubt that happens with Luka. But I'm telling y'all right now, my prediction is the MVP race, I'm telling y'all right now, the MVP race is going to come down to, I want somebody to screen, if I got a mod in here, screen record this part, timestamp it, and send it to me, please. If you can screen record what I'm about to say, so in 6 months when I'm right, you niggas can replay this to say, hey, Dwan, you was exactly right. There are going to be three names for NBA MVP this year. Only 3. Joel Embiid out of Philly, non-FBA. Giannis, four. Joel Embiid's going to be number 4, the lowest on the list. He's kind of the backup plan, just in case one of these the 2 white boys get injured. It's going to be Luka Doncic. It's going to be Jokic, the white boy from Denver, and Giannis. Those are going to be the only 4 names they talk about MVP. It won't matter. Ja Morant probably should be. Ja Morant probably should have been MVP 2 years ago. This year, the real MVP is either going to be Trey. The best player in the league this year is probably going to be either Trae Young, Ja Morant, LaMelo. KD has a chance to, KD ain't the same since the Achilles injuries. So I don't know if KD got it anymore since the Achilles injuries. But those are going to be the best players in the league. But the league ain't going to give a fuck. They going to act like them niggas don't exist. The league's going to act like Ja Morant don't exist. They're going to act like Devin Booker don't exist. They're going to act like, what's that boy that just went to Cleveland from Utah? Donovan Mitchell. They're going to act like he don't exist. They're only going to talk about Luka Doncic, Jokic, Giannis, and if any one of those 3 get hurt, Joel Embiid. And that's going to be your MVP race. Record it, timestamp it, and holler at me in March. I promise you I'm going to be right. Promise you. No. The Lakers are retiring Pau Gasol's number because the Lakers only retire Hall of Famers numbers. And I'm with the Lakers doing that. I just personally think the Lakers need to make 2 exceptions. I'm with the Lakers only retiring Hall of Famers. I'm with that. But I think there needs to be 2 exceptions. Michael Cooper and Derek Fisher. Why? Michael Cooper played a key part on 5 championships and 8 finals runs. And if he was there in 91, if he was there in 91 and James Worthy didn't get hurt, they probably would have beat the Bulls and had 6. But Michael Cooper was a part of 5 championships, and so was Derek Fisher. When you're a key role player on 5 championships, 5, that's more than 95% of the NBA. 95% of the NBA teams don't even have 5 championships since the organization's been in existence. The Lakers have had 2 5-championship team runs. So I think the guys like Derek Fisher and Michael Cooper who were there for those runs, they should be in the Hall of Fame too. I mean, their numbers should not Hall of Fame. Hell no, not Hall of Fame. Their numbers should be retired by the Lakers. But no, Pau Gasol is going to the Hall of Fame. That's why he's getting his number retired. Yeah. Yeah, they were the glue to those championship rings. Yeah, so oh yeah. Yeah, people are all saying that. I'll halfway accept Dirk Nowitzki's MVP, even though they got beat by the Warriors in the first round. That was just a bad matchup. I halfway accept that MVP because Kobe was hurt. Was that 06? Oh, that was 06 or 07? Was it 06 or 07? I think that was the year Kobe was hurt and missed like 30 games. What's up, Ben Frank? Ben Frank looked like he puts shiny mirrors on his cowboy boots to look up under the skirts of young vixens. The motherfucker Ben Frank be that one black dude in the cowboy in the Western bar, and they like him because he the only nigga. This nigga Ben Frank walk up in the room and be like, "Wee doggy." All right, back to what I was saying. Okay, it was 07, Courtney G. Thank you. 07 was a championship. Oh yeah, right. Because 06 was the year that I remember going up to San Francisco. And I remember me and a few other people, I ain't gonna name the other people I was with, but we stayed at Barron's house, Baron Davis. And we were there for like the last game of the season. It was Warriors versus Suns. This was Steve Nash was on the Suns. And Barron was hurt, injured. And the Warriors missed the playoffs that year in 07. And I remember talking to Barron about, the coaching situation and all that. And Don, he was talking about how much, well, who was the coach that year? Was Don Nelson the coach that year? People in the chat room, look it up. Was 07, I think that was Don Nelson's last year coaching in the NBA. Because was that the year Don Nelson returned to the Warriors in 07? Look me up. Look me up. I remember Don Nelson coached it back in the 90s, but then he came. That was Don Nelson's last team he coached. And then that next year, Barron wasn't hurt, and they had that We Believe year. That was one of my favorite. That We Believe Warriors run was one of my favorite runs to witness and watch. That was one of my favorite champions. But Kobe made the playoffs here because Kobe missed the playoffs in 05, I think. 05 was the year Kobe got hurt and missed 30 games and missed the playoffs. 06, 07, the year Dirk won the MVP, that was the year the Lakers lost. No. Steve Nash? You niggas is confusing me. No, Steve Nash. I thought Steve Nash. Yeah, that dunk by BD was sick. And y'all don't know. Andre, yeah, nigga. Was it over Karolinko? Who's it over? Yeah, 07. Nash, the MVP. Nash won his MVP in what? 06. And y'all saying Dirk won it? Because Kobe won it in 08. Kobe finally got his MVP in 08. But yeah, Kobe should have been MVP that year. Dirk won. I saw why they did it. Because the Dallas Mavericks was so goddamn good that year. But yeah, Kobe probably should have been MVP that year too. Yeah, y'all forget that, man. Andre Karolinko was the real deal. AK-47. I know the women be mad when I talk basketball. My bad. My bad, ladies. I'm going to get to something else pretty soon. But but I'm glad we talking about this, fellas, because I will get back. And for the ladies who like basketball, I will get back to this season. I'm gonna be doing some live streams during like some of the important basketball games. Live commentary. I'm gonna be doing it Chick Hearn style. So I'm gonna need y'all to mute y'all TVs and listen to me. And I'm gonna be talking the game. We're gonna be breaking down how the flow of the game, and then during halftime, we're gonna sit back and discuss strategy, what needs to happen. And one thing I might do also this year, I just floated this in my mind. I'm gonna do some shit you niggas ain't never seen before. I'm gonna see if I can predict outcomes of games based on cards. I've never heard of anyone doing it. I don't know if it can be done, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna look it up and see. I'm gonna figure out a way to get the outcomes of games right 7 out of 10 times. That's my goal, to be right 7 out of 10 times. Because I can look up the card of a team based on the year and the date, based on the date the NBA established that franchise. That'll be that franchise's card. And then I can read that franchise's yearly spread. And it'll tell me what's in the cards for the teams that year. And then I can read that team's yearly card versus the yearly card of the other team. And I can read that against the card of the week or the card of the day and see how the team's sun card responds to the card of the day. I don't know. I'm just, because I can't read a relationship between two teams with cardology. I can do that. But I don't know if I can predict who's going to win or not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I'm not going to say I don't know. But you niggas is going to see in real time if it is possible or not. Because I will do some card readings on some sports teams this year too, and see how that shit work out. I don't know. I'm gonna find out in live real time with you niggas. I might read some shit and be all the way wrong. What's up, Emmanuel? Zion looks like, man, Zion, I'm concerned for Zion Williams, man. Who am I to say what he looks like, what he should look like? And the reason why I say that is because the reason why I don't judge it is because I, for one hand, was never as athletic as Zion Williams. Let me start off by saying I was never 1/10 as good as Zion Williams. I'm gonna start off by saying that I was never I was at my best. I wasn't. Zion Williams is a freak of nature. He's a really good basketball player. But when I used to hoop, I hooped on 340 pounds easily. Like, I would play 2, 3, 4 hours a day. Matter of fact, usually if I only played for 2 hours, I'd be mad. Like, that wasn't enough workout. I had to play ball at least 3 hours. At 3 hours, I was happy. If I was on the court 5 hours, that's because we kept winning. Or I lost a game and I had to get back on the court. You know what I mean? But, so I'm not one to really judge, because I know through personal experience, just because a person looks a certain way don't mean they can't handle it. I'm going to say that because that's just my life. Part of the reason why I was so good, I think, because halftime people would look at me, they'd be like, oh, this nigga can't hoop. Now, mind you, I wasn't as sloppy fat as I am now. I was, my fat was a little more solid back then. But I was still a fat ass nigga. That anytime I got down to around 315, 320, I could dunk. At 340, landing just hurt too much. I didn't even try to dunk at 340 but 320, I could. So I'm not one to judge a player by how they look. I know personally that shit don't matter. But on the other end, Zion has been getting hurt. But is it because of the weight? Or is it because of that's just his legs? Prime example, Anthony Davis. The only thing overweight on Anthony Davis is his eyebrows. But he be having the same issues as Zion. That's why I say it's not as clear cut. This nigga Anthony Davis is shaped like a pixie stick. The only fat nigga, the only layer of fat on Anthony Davis. I don't even know if he had. I don't know if Anthony Davis knows how to spell the word fat. But he got the same injury issues as Zion Williams. Andrew Bynum wasn't fat. As a matter of fact, Andrew Bynum was chubby when he came into the NBA. But after Andrew Bynum's second season, this is his first season, Andrew Bynum was on the bench. He didn't play that much. He was only chubby his first season. And he didn't have injury. Andrew Bynum didn't really have, but when Andrew Bynum was when he was at his prime, when he was at his best, Andrew Bynum was in great shape. I remember going I got to a Laker game early one day, and I was in the tunnel. I was in the tunnel, and I walked past Andrew Bynum. I was on the way to the friends and family room, and Andrew Bynum, this motherfucker was lean, but the nigga's knees couldn't hold up. Greg Oden was lean. Matter of fact, I was in the club with Greg Oden one night. Quick story, I almost injured Greg Oden one night in the club. We was in Hollywood. It was a club called LAX. LAX was over on, if you from LA, Club LAX was on Hollywood Boulevard. It was on Las Palmas, north of Hollywood Boulevard. That club had a few names, but back in 2006, 2007, that club was named LAX. I was in the club, and I used to smoke my weed out of a bullet pipe. Y'all know those bullet pipes? The one where you, the ones where you have the tip, and you pack your weed in the tip, and then you let the flame hit it. I had one of them pipes. But I forgot to let Greg Oden know that my lighter was a torch lighter. He thought it was a regular flame lighter. So he lit that motherfucker thinking, kind of like this, thinking that he about to, and that torch jumped up and dabbled that nigga's eyebrows and eyelids, nigga. That shit singed this nigga's eyelids. And this is like 2 weeks before the season was supposed to start. Well, training camp. I'm about to say, oh shit, this is the year Greg Oden was coming back. I was like, man, I was about to fuck up Greg Oden's comeback with my torch lighter. Yeah, Brandon Roy was a 2-guard. His knees went out. I remember I was in an elevator with Brandon Roy. And Brandon Roy's first All-Star game was in Phoenix, 2007 or 8. I always get confused. I think Vegas was 07. All-Star Weekend Vegas, I think, was 07. And All-Star Weekend New Orleans was 08. I was out there for All-Star Weekend New Orleans. And after the game, I burned myself with my joint. After the game, we were in the Sheraton. That's what. Well, I wasn't. I was staying across the street. The players all stay at the Sheraton. Usually, All-Star Weekend. If the All-Star Weekend's in your town, and your town has a nice Sheraton, that's probably where the league is going to have its locale. Here in LA, they now use the Ritz-Carlton downtown across the street from Staples Center, or the Ritz-Carlton Marina Del Rey, or the Beverly Wilshire on Wilshire and Rodeo Drive. Those are the places the team stay. But when All-Star Weekends is out here, it's usually at the Ritz-Carlton downtown. Well, anyway, this nigga Brandon Rory got in the elevator with us when we was all going back up to the room, and somebody asked him, how was it? How was it been in the All-Star weekend, in an All-Star game? And Brandon Rory was like, man, I was nervous. And he was like, but then Kobe told me, nigga, shoot the ball. If I pass it to you or somebody pass you the ball, shoot it. Brandon Roy said, Kobe basically told him, man, when it's time for you to get yours, get yours. And this is back in like 07, remember every 08, remember every report about Kobe, because this is still before he won those championships. The NBA was shitting on Kobe. Oh, Kobe can't win because he's a bad teammate. Oh, Kobe can't win because he doesn't pass the ball. Kobe doesn't get along well with his teammates. This when the media was slandering the fuck out of Kobe. They didn't get off Kobe's back a little bit until he won that championship in 2009 against the Orlando Magic. 5 games. They won 4 games to 1. That year they beat the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. That year in the second round that year, I forgot. Well, anyway, I digress. Back to Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy, this when the NBA was shitting on Kobe. So when I would be around and hear all these stories, I'd be like, damn, it seemed like every player that talks about Kobe basically looks at Kobe like a god. But then when I used to watch ESPN every day, like a lot of you niggas. This is back when I used to watch ESPN. I used to watch First Take, nigga, Around the Horn, Pardon the Interruption, nigga, Sports Center, and then watch the games, and then watch Sports Center, and then turn to the best damn sports show period on Fox Sports West. Nigga, this them years. And so, but I got to see like, man, these niggas in the media really do be lying. They had me thinking one thing. I'm a Laker fan, and I'm over here mad at Kobe, thinking that, nigga, don't nobody want to come play with the Lakers because of Kobe. Even Bill Plaschke's sorry ass LA Times writer would write shit like that. They really had a nigga thinking that was some real shit in 2007, 8. But then every time, 100% of the time I would listen to a player talk about Kobe, they'd all talk about that nigga as if he was God. That's when I was like, man, the media full of shit. These niggas be lying. And they don't be no little lies either. So, let me tell you niggas something, if you still watch SportsCenter. They don't tell you little lies. They literally tell you night is day and day is night. That's the level of lies ESPN throws at you niggas. I'm giving you niggas firsthand experience. I had a homeboy that went to Syracuse University to broadcast for ESPN. At the time, I don't know if it's still like this. I'm sure it is, but there's a 6-week course at Syracuse University. And you got to take that course if you want to work for ESPN or Fox Sports. It really teaches you the ins and outs of broadcasting, sports journalism. And I remember when dude first came back from that class, he was like, man, basically, if you want to work for ESPN, you got to talk good about LeBron and good about Michael Jordan. They'll let 1 or 2 people disagree about LeBron or Jordan, but they won't let you bring up anybody outside of them. I was like, so they got you niggas framing the narrative. And he didn't know what I was talking about because he was a dumb nigga. I was like, no, framing the narrative. Like, you narrow the scope of the conversation. That way you can lead people to conclusions that they thought that they brought up themselves. That's how framing narratives works. It leads you to a conclusion that you think you came to on your own, when really you were led there based on a limited perspective. And they basically, in that class, teach you how to talk with a limited perspective. I've had a couple people go to that school tell me, like, basically, yeah, if you're gonna work for ESPN, you better promote whoever. You see, they all got the little earpieces in their ear. You better promote who the fuck they want you to promote. It's all about agenda. The NBA is heavy on agenda, y'all. Extremely heavy on agenda. NBA media is all agenda. And they got black people asleep. And that's what takes me back to the original person that asked me this question about sports. Yes, I see them trying to replace us with these other people. And we see that. Remember, the white supremacist thinks 20 years ahead. Yeah, the niggas in Africa, they suck now in the Sudan. But in 15 years, this generation suck, but their kids gonna be balling. Go back and look at Europe when the Dream Team was made. Them Europeans in '92 that Magic Johnson was and Michael Jordan was cracking, they sucked. But their kids came through. And their kids became the real deal. So that's the intention for the NBA in Africa. So for those of you who love basketball like me, enjoy the last generation of foundational black American control of the NBA. We're seeing it right now with LaMelo Ball. Now, we're still going to always be the best players, but they'll get enough of them other people to really water the game down. That's what's going to happen. And NBA won't be as good. And my hope is that black people say, fuck the NBA. I have a little engineer here. I have a little mathematician here. My child is a software engineer. My child is an architect. My child is a plumber. My child designs sweatshirts. Where the fuck? Because whatever it is black people do, we'd be successful as hell at it. So my hope and prayer is black people, we see the NBA rejecting us, and we say, you know what? Fuck the NBA. We don't like you anyway. That's my hope. And I love basketball, but I love black people more. So I'd rather see basketball collapse and black people win. And basketball is my favorite pastime. That's how me and my dad bonded. Matter of fact, when the season starts, I'm going to make sure to go to my dad's house to watch some games this season. Because that's really how me and my dad connected as children when I was a child. My earliest memories was, I got pictures of me at 2 years old, 3 years old, sitting on my dad's lap with my dad having a Laker hat on and a joint in his hand. I got like a bunch of childhood pictures of me around my dad, and my dad got either a joint in his mouth or a joint in his hand. And wonder why I like weed so goddamn much. And for all you niggas that say weed makes you a bad person, I have the greatest dad ever. He don't smoke weed no more, but my whole childhood he did. If smoking weed made my father a bad person, then I love that bad motherfucker. I love my dad, man. My dad was with me today. My car needed some, I had to take my car to the shop for a little service. Had my dad pick me up. Pops picked me up, took me back to my parents' house. Got to kick it with my mom and my dad today. I love my mom and my dad. Got to kick it with my parents. Pops, my mom dropped me back off to pick my car up. I felt like I was 17 all over again. My parents had, my dad had to pick me up and my mama had to drop me off. That's how today was spent. Daddy picking me up and mama dropping me off. Yeah, man. That's right, Five Life. We need to leave sports and let this shit die. You're right, Bruce. They've already done it with MLB. Yep. And they also doing it with football. But I don't watch football no more. But every time I watch football, there's a new nigga named Ubekwe. There's a new nigga named Akinwale. And another nigga named Igbunu. It's in like because every now, I'm not saying I don't watch. Like, I'm taking my attention from football. Every now and again, if I get up on a Sunday morning, I haven't seen any games yet this season. But I have no doubt some point this season I'll be up and I'll just kind of turn it to be listening to some music, or I'll turn the TV on and the game will be on and it'll be like 5 minutes left and somebody's down by 4 points and they driving. Hell yeah, I'm going to sit and watch that because I love competition. I'll watch a piece, but I watch now whenever I do tune in on a football game, I tune in on football the same way I tune in on baseball. Baseball, I really don't give a fuck. I support my Dodgers because I'm an LA nigga. I remember being a 7-year-old boy here in LA, watching Kirk Gibson knock that home run in and doing a little fist pump. That's just an LA memory. If you're born and raised in LA and you was around in the 80s, that was an iconic moment, whether you watched the Dodgers or not. So for that reason, I want the Dodgers to win. I don't give a fuck about baseball. Fuck baseball. But I will watch. I do the ESPN Sunday games. I will no doubt watch ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. That be them games, especially if the game is like 4-3 and it's the middle. It's the seventh inning and you got 2 on, 2 out. Hell, motherfucker, yeah, I'm probably gonna watch the rest of that game because I love competition. But I don't give a fuck about baseball. And that's how I feel about football now. When I used to I had NFL Sunday ticket for 15 years in a row. That's how I watched football. I had NFL Sunday ticket, and I had to be at church for the first game. I was paying the drums at church during the first set of games. I could only watch the second set of games, but I love football so much. I got Sunday tickets so I could watch them second set of games. Fuck all that, man. Yeah, you watch the NFL during the last rounds of the playoffs. Yeah. If it's a competitive game, yeah, I might. I didn't see it. Did I watch any football games last playoffs? This past playoffs, I did watch some football games. It was, or was it 2 years? One of the last 2 years, I didn't watch any playoff games. And last year, I think I watched like 1 or 2, but I can't even tell you who played because I may have only watched like 2 quarters of it. I don't give a fuck about football. But again, the reason why I'm going back to, I'll be talking some basketball because I can talk basketball and still make it a constructive conversation. And y'all gonna hear y'all hear now when I talk about this stuff. I'm always talking to you guys about the game behind the game. I use basketball to explain the game behind the game because the game behind the game of basketball is the same game behind the game with TV, the same agendas on TV, the same agendas on the news. Those same agendas are being pumped through sports and sports coverage. So we can use sports as a canvas to talk about greater issues going on in our society. Well, if you think about it like I do. But if you one of the niggas that watch sports and all you can talk about is some nigga stats, and you have like a love of, and you have a man crush on this nigga, and then yeah, you're not gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna entertain that style of basketball conversation. I'm not gonna entertain that. When we talk about it, we're gonna talk about it from a constructive point of view. And there's other people out there who are more casual, who do want to learn more about the sport. They don't want to just talk stats. They really do want to understand the ins and outs of the game. I'm gonna make that a subject on caffeine. I'm gonna make that a subject on caffeine. On caffeine, I'm gonna do some call-ins, I think. On caffeine, on a caffeine show. I think I'm gonna do some, if it's like a big game that happened, I'm gonna do some call-in shows. Kenneth Berry, fuck fantasy football. I hate fantasy football. I just saw a bunch of y'all chats come through. Cause the shit was stuck with no chats now. It's got like 50 chats come through. So I'm definitely not gonna read what the fuck y'all saying, because it was on like, I had no chats come through for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And now just like 50 goddamn messages is dropped on my phone at the same time. Hey, Frank Green, no, I have not gone to drag races, but check it. I've been saying I want to do it. The drag races are, see, I was supposed to start going to them, cause my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he like, my brother-in-law, he likes the drag races, and he knows all about that shit. But the coronavirus had knocked shit. We was gonna go to some shit in like 2020, but that coronavirus has shut all that shit down. Now that shit's back open, I do want to go to them drag races in Pomona, at the Pomona Motors, at the LA County Fairgrounds, and the one out in Fontana Motor Speedway. Hell yeah, I plan on fucking with that. I plan on fucking. I got earplugs. I got earplugs. Thank you for the help. Thank you for the advice. But I got me some earplugs. I want to go. You have the Long Beach. Hey, Kenneth, when are the Long Beach drag races? I do want to go to the Long Beach Grand Prix. Does that go on at the same time as Long Beach Grand Prix? Because the other day I was on a 710 the other day, doing that exit off down on the PCH, off the 710, and that's the same, PCH and Shoreline. Those are the streets for the Long Beach Grand Prix. I was on that street. I was on that. What was it, last week? I was thinking, man, I gotta come down to this motherfucker. Hey, what day of the Long Beach drag races, man? Tell me. Are usually Sunday nights? Okay. Where the Long Beach drag races at? Hey, don't be surprised if y'all see me down at one of these motherfuckers real soon. Do not be surprised. I love going on adventures. Yeah, I want to do some. I want to do some racing. I want to watch it. I do want to do that. But I don't want to go to no. Honestly, I don't want to go to no niggas in a motherfucking souped up Camaro racing. I want to go to the real racers. Them motherfucking cars. Them ones with them big ass fat ass tires in the back, and it's like the official racing. I don't want to go to no motherfucker who got a souped up 1989 Mustang 5.0. I don't want to see that nigga. I don't want to see no Asians in no motherfucking Jetta with turbo engines and shit. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that bullshit ass racing. I want to see the real shit. AC, I'm going to the monster truck races. The monster trucks are usually, that's another thing that the coronavirus fucked up. The monster trucks are usually out here in January and February. Usually in Anaheim, they have the monster trucks and the motocross. My wife ain't fucking with that. So I'm gonna hit my brother-in-law up. I'm gonna hit up my sister's husband. He'll be down for that. He'll definitely be down for that. I'm fucking with the monster trucks in Anaheim in January, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. Y'all gonna see Instagram posts. If I said posts, I always butcher at least one word of broadcast. You can guarantee every time I come on here, it's gonna be one word, usually three, that I fuck all the way up. Yeah. I don't know the jargon of muscle cars. See, I'm like, let me tell y'all nothing about me. If I don't know, I'm not gonna act like I do. I don't fuck with y'all. I respect any nigga. It's 35 of y'all in here right now, 37 likes. Y'all know me. If I was on my computer right now and I had a subject, I'd have 400 people in this motherfucker right now. But sometimes it ain't about that. That's bullshit. Sometimes I just want to connect with some motherfuckers, you know? And usually I connect with y'all when my wife got something else to do. If she home, I don't be talking to you niggas on the late night Q&A tip. Sometimes I do. When she home, me and her be having some of the dopest conversations you ever heard in your life. But usually when I like fucking with y'all and seeing what y'all thinking. I don't know about the racing. I want to learn that shit. You dig? I don't know about it. I don't know the jargon. I don't know the name of them big goofy looking ass tires. I don't know the name of that long ass cigarette looking ass car with the big ass spoiler on the back. I don't know the difference between that and the other one with the nigga. I don't know. But I love competition. Like one thing my wife always says about me. My wife has always been like, man, from day one. She's like, you a real man. Like, you just do man shit. Nigga, I'll go fishing. Sometimes I'll rent. One day I wanted to learn how to chop a tree down. So I went up to the forest and I took a class on swinging the axe right. I just be doing all kind of man-ass shit. I'm always learning some shit. And right now I'm in a mode, I love competition. I love the preparation. I love the science of sports. I love the heart of sports. I love sports, man, because I love true competition. That's why I'm not a fan of these super teams in the NBA. You got a nigga that's the so-called goddamn king going down to Miami and teaming up with Wade and Bosh. That's some hoe-ass shit. That ain't competition. I was looking, when LeBron and Wade got drafted in 2003, I was looking forward to 15 years of them niggas going at it. LeBron versus Wade. LeBron versus Carmelo. Carmelo versus Wade. Bosh versus Carmelo. That's what I wanted to see. These niggas fighting each other. Because I'm a competitive ass nigga when it comes to sports. But then you get three niggas taking in the third greatest draft of all time. Make no mistake, the three greatest drafts of all time is 1984, 1996, and 2003. Those are the three greatest NBA drafts of all time. And three of the top five niggas from the third greatest draft of all time on the same team. That's some bullshit. I don't care what you punk ass niggas say and y'all excuses. Well, he wanted to play with his friends. He wanted to play with his friends. You niggas is what's wrong with sports. Sports ain't about playing with your friends. Sports is about kicking your friend's ass and then talking shit about it afterwards while y'all go ahead and chase women all throughout the club. That's what I used to do in my 20s. Nigga, when I hooped, I wanted to knock my friend's teeth out. Then I'm going to go home, I'm going to take a shower, and then we headed up to the Coconut Teaser on Sunset and Laurel Canyon, nigga. That's what the fuck my life, that's the fuck I'm about. 2002, nigga, go to the club, sometime fight a nigga at the basketball court, and then see him later on that night at Miyagi's. All you LA niggas from the 2000s know about Miyagi's and Dublin's. Nigga, these niggas now talking about friendship. Ain't no goddamn friends on the basketball court. Nigga, I want to win. And that's why I want to get into this racing shit. That's just another element of competition. I love being around competition. I love that shit. Competition makes me creative. Now, in my creativity, that's the oxymoron, that's the duality of being a Gemini. On one hand, I love sports. I love that competition. On the other hand, when it comes to how I live my life, I'm not competitive at all. I'm not competitive with anyone outside of myself. My biggest competition when it comes to my YouTube, when it comes to my business that I run, when it comes to everything that y'all see me do publicly, my competition is within. I need to be the best nigga I can be. That means I need to be around the best people I can be. That's going, when I spend my time around these people, they're going to give me some fruitful information that I can use to be a better person than I can be. Be a better husband, be a better businessman, be a better uncle to my nieces, be a better son to my parents, be a better friend to my friends, and be a better me to me. That's what this shit's about to me. I'm competitive with me. I don't be looking at what none of these other niggas do. Niggas be tweeting me talking about this person said that, and I be like, who is this person and who is that person? I don't know who neither of them niggas is. And then they be like, such and such channel. Oh, and I be like, oh yeah, they talked about us before. Well, you can't force me to give a fuck to care about what people are saying about me or what people think about me. And I think that's one of my issues, something I probably got to get better at. I'm the least self-conscious person you've ever met. I have to get reminded that people are watching me. Like I'll be around some friends, they'll be like, man, people be watching, or somebody will say something, and I'll be like, huh? I don't be thinking, it's not that I don't think people are watching me, it's that I don't care. Because I'm competitive with myself. I want to be the best DwannBrown I can be. I told myself that when I was 5 years old. 6. I told myself that when I was 6 years old. I was playing with a Tonka truck in my backyard. And I said, all I want to be is the best person that I could be. And I live my whole life by that. Not be a good person, because look, in public, I'm a fuck up. That's why I be smoking weed and cussing and talking shit. I don't want you niggas I don't want to act like I'm going to be perfect. Hell no, I ain't trying to be a good person for you niggas. Y'all can kiss my ass. I love y'all, but honestly, y'all can kiss my ass. It's not about being a good person for y'all. It's about being the best person I can be. It's about me being satisfied with me. When I look in that mirror, I'm proud of myself. That's where all my competition is. I don't be giving a fuck about none of you niggas. Although I do get reminded fairly often that people care about. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm not going to say no names. But I recently heard a particular radio show, podcast or whatever, whatever you want to call them. They do radio podcasts, whatever, something like that. They heard something going on my show, and a person that they know that we know in common, basically, they said something like they did some shady shit to them in they little situation because that person said something about how much they like my show, and they put that person's situation in jeopardy. And I'm like, first of all, how did you even know that person said whatever about my show? Why are you watching that hard? I don't watch your shit. I don't even like your shit. I know you exist. But even when I did watch, I came to the conclusion I don't like your shit because I gave it a good chance. Gave it a good 2 or 3 months, 6 months of watching. I just came to the conclusion I didn't like it, but I never said anything. So, I don't have any issues with that person personally. They don't exist to me. Once I deem you someone that I don't, your thing ain't my cup of tea, there's no positive nor negative reaction to you. It's neutral. People forget the atom is a proton, neutron, and electron. The neutron is in a nucleus. I'm neutral, nigga. I'm not charging shit. I'm not. You don't drain me. But it was a reminder that, like, man, people really be watching my shit. Look, y'all don't understand. I'm a king of clubs. I'm a spontaneous nigga. I only speak to y'all from the heart. I don't prepare for nothing that I do. When I was on Craig Facts yesterday and I did 1 hour and 20 minutes on camera and I had that conscious stream of thought, that was off the top of the head, nigga. I don't prepare for this shit. That's why sometimes I can get a name wrong or a date wrong, or I can get something here. And I'm a human, but I love myself to allow myself that freedom to make a mistake. You know? And that's something that I had to learn how to do. I used to be too self-critical, and I used to really harm myself. I used to really harm myself mentally by not accepting myself and not accepting my mistakes. That's a lesson that I learned. I learned that about the age of 39 going into 40. You gotta be like, nigga gonna fuck up, whatever, let's just go. But I do this show off the top of my head. Shit. Usually I think of a title 10 minutes before I go live. And then I go to Canva. As soon as I think of a title, I go to Canva. I go to Google. I look for an image of who I'm talking about. And then sometimes if I'm feeling silly, if I'm feeling goofy, I'll find a funny looking picture of them and put it on something else. Like when I put that picture of me and Reddy Short with the Queen of England, I put her face on the devil. That's when I'm feeling silly. I feel goofy. I made the extra step and put someone else's face on something. And so it could be a funny thumbnail. But other than that, I just get a picture. And usually I create my thumbnails in about 5 to 10 minutes. And, if I'm going real slow, 30 minutes. But usually if I'm smoking this right here, if about halfway through one of these, I done thought of a title. I go to Canva. I create a thumbnail. I make it look silly if I can. Or I think of a snappy title. And then I go to YouTube. I upload it. And then I write the description, what I want to talk about, and my merch and all that shit. And then I go live. And then I just have a stream of consciousness and I go. I don't prepare for this shit. But when I'm done, I'm done. Most of the time, a lot of times, I don't be remember the fuck I said. You niggas be reminding me of what I said. Or like if I want to make a clip, sometimes I'll go back and I want to make a clip to put up on Instagram, some shit like that. So I'll go back. That's the only time I go back and watch anything that I do, if I want to make a clip. But if you notice, I don't be putting a whole bunch of clips out there like that because I don't want to fucking listen to myself when I'm done talking. When I'm done talking, I'm on to something else. Usually when I'm done talking, nigga, I'm listening to music and I'm like, man, fuck all them niggas. Let me turn on some Oscar Peterson and some Miles Davis. But I said that to say, niggas be looking. And that shit, I can't say it's weird because it's human nature. I'm weird. I'm a weird ass nigga. I can't say that they weird. Nigga, I'm weird. I'm a weird motherfucker. Because I be in the public not giving a fuck about what the public think. Nigga, I was in Target today and somebody recognized me. Nigga, I was in Crocs, some sandals, and my t-shirt had a hole in it. But nigga, I had to get some motherfucking aftershave. I was out of aftershave and I was out of deodorant. Nigga, fuck all that. I ain't about to get all dressed and ready. Nigga, I was ashy than a motherfucker. My wife was asleep. If my wife knew I left the house that ashy, she'd have been mad than a motherfucker. I don't be giving a fuck. And somebody was like, Dwan, man, I love your show. I was like, yeah, what up, man? Hole all in my shirt. I don't give a fuck. It was only after that interaction I was like, damn, I probably should at least wear a shirt without a hole in it. Yeah, man. Yeah, fuck all that fake shit, man. I ain't got time for all that. Nigga, I just go. I go. I go to stream of consciousness and then I'm done. Why do y'all think I haven't done many interviews? I got some dope people to interview. I just reached out to Judge Joe Brown and he told me it's a goal on the interview. I just got to wait for him to hit me back with a date and time. And that was because Dr. Randy Short encouraged me. Like, I interview Dr. Short consistently, but like, man, I got so many Incense and Ashtrays interviews I haven't done. I got some Motown legends I still haven't interviewed that I have access to interview. I got some local musicians, and not local, some really good musicians that are behind a lot of hot songs now that I can call to interview. But I got some comedians. I'm supposed to interview my man Gerard Kelly. Gerard Kelly started a podcast with Ari Spears, but they ended that shit with this bullshit. Gerard Guillory. Gerard always wearing them goddamn Kango hats. That's a Kango hat wearing nigga, but he funny as hell. I want to interview Freeze Love again. And I got some famous people that I can interview. But why haven't I done it? Because I be spontaneous with this shit, y'all. I hate planning ahead. Anytime I got to plan ahead, that shit feel like a motherfucking job. And I don't ever want this shit to feel like a job. I hate planning ahead. Because I live my day by the groove, man. I be on a one with this shit. I be like, okay, I'm booked for three cardiology readings. All right, cool. This time. Then after that, I'm like a drummer, man. The times that I'm booked, the times that I gotta be at Craigfax somewhere, that's the 2 and the 4. But if you know anything about music, all the funk, all the groove happen between the 1 and the 2. Between the 2 and the 3. That's where the funk happens. The 2 and the 4 is just the break. So for me, the schedule's the break. After that, I gotta live my life in the pocket. So I don't be scheduling interviews 2 weeks out. I hate that shit. And my YouTube channel has suffered for it. I probably could have 4 times the subscribers. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not saying I'm doing the right thing. But if I did more interviews and interview, especially these well-known people that I know, I'd probably be at least 44,000 subs or some shit like that. But I don't like doing that shit. That shit corny to me. When I come live, usually if y'all see a title or some shit like that, it was some shit that I saw on Twitter, or I was in a Twitter space and thought about saying, had an idea, or I see you niggas is, I see that, you know, social media is buzzing about something, a particular topic. And usually I'll get somebody on Instagram like, Dwan, I want you to talk about this. But usually I don't be, y'all can understand where my brain is. When the mundane is buzzing on something, I'm seeing right through the agenda and I'm not feeling the same way about it as everybody else. So sometimes I'll be late. Y'all see I'll put up a video 3 days or 4 days after that topic's been buzzing, because the first 2 days I really couldn't find the fuck to give about that particular topic. There was nothing for me to say because I didn't care. But then after the third or fourth day of me watching people go back and forth, and I'm seeing both sides of it and seeing people argue, then somebody ultimately say something that'll piss me off. And then when they say something that piss me off, I'll think of a title of a show, and then I'll go right to Canva and design that hoe, and then be like, all right, cool. I ain't got no more appointments right now. All right, cool, let's go. And from the conception of the idea of the show, thinking of a title, designing a Canva thumbnail, that whole process usually takes me anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. And then I go live. But usually the inspiration happened 5 minutes before that. So hell no, I ain't scheduling no goddamn interview, man. She gonna mess up my groove. What if I want to take my wife to Malibu? What if it's one of them days where, man, I got a shit. You ever had them days where it's like that shit be running through you? You like, damn, I thought I was gonna go out, but shit. Glad I'm home. But I planned the interview. And now I gotta pause the interview, so I gotta run and empty out. Nah, that's never happened, knock on wood. But that's a possibility when you overplan your life. You dig? What's up, Peace Be Still? This nigga Peace Be Still made me want to go to church with my grandmama. Peace be still. This nigga right here. When I see Peace Be Still talk, I feel like eating a Werther's Original or peppermint candy. And then you hate when you be in church as a kid. That person that when you be in church, you be that person that be Sister Johnston. She always unraveling her candy real slow. You be like, can't you just rip that shit open? It just be crackling, 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 crackling. Like, God damn it, Miss Minnie. Just open that shit up. Shit. Man, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to say it late in the video, so. Hey, man, y'all don't know. I'm saying this. Man, yeah, y'all don't, man, shit. I saw the lovely Miss Great, Tashina Arnold, last night again at the bowl. Man, that shit was so dope. Man, y'all don't even know. And Tashina Arnold, like, I swear that's like my new best friend. I swear to God. That was like meeting. She reminds me so much of my sister. Anybody know me, y'all know. Anybody who watch me regularly, you know my sister is my best friend. My wife's my best friend, but my longest friend, my outside of my wife, my heartbeat is my sister. Me and my sister are close. And Tashina is one of the few people I've ever met that really reminds me of my sister. Because in my life, my sister holds the highest pedestal. I remember my mom used to always be like, I remember when my sister turned like 15, 16, my mom was like, I was doing something, I was annoying my sister. When she was like 15, I was like 11 or 10. My mom was like, I don't know why you getting annoyed. That's your that's your son, not mine. My mom used to always say that. Yeah, Miss Arnold, man, she's like a sister to me almost already. I saw her at the bowl last night. Man, last night's show at the bowl was so dope. I'm gonna talk about it on Incense. I should have talked about it on Incense and Ashtrays pretty soon. The show at the bowl was so dope. It was Wu-Tang, Nas, and Busta Rhymes. And Busta Rhymes be on that bullshit, but the nigga can rap his ass off, and that's why low key hurt what he said, because Busta Rhymes is a music guy. But here's my thing to Busta, and if this ever gets thrown out of Busta, I want to make it clear. I ain't got no personal problems with Busta, but I do have an issue with you infringing on Black American culture. And I think part of the reason why you're infringing is because you just don't understand clearly how culture works. You can't move to a society and impress upon a dominant culture in one generation. That's scientifically impossible. It takes subcultures 2 to 3 generations, sometimes 4, to have an imprint on the dominant culture. That's science, brother. That's just science. You can't come from Jamaica at 14 and then start DJing at 18 and say that's you bring in Jamaica. When you bought everything in New York, when you were in Jamaica, were you even at those venues? You see them in the streets, of course, you see them out there, but did that technology exist in that you had in 1972? Did that 1973? Did that technology exist in Jamaica in 1965? No, Jamaica was too poor. This isn't disrespect to Jamaica. It's just history. You can look it up. Shit, get an encyclopedia, nigga. Goddamn. So there's an issue when you infringe on our culture. And when I go deeper than that, we can't name one thing that you brought from Jamaica that wasn't already in existence here in America. You can't find it. You can't. What did you bring from Jamaica that was it already here? And the answer is nothing. So that's my issue with Busta right there. Not that if Busta was raised in Jamaica in Jamaican culture, he would have been a great Jamaican music artist. Busta is so much of a music guy. Busta was going to be a great artist in the expression of wherever he was born. Whatever the sound and the vibration he picked up in his childhood, growing up, that was going to be his expression of music. If Busta was born 20 years sooner or 10 years sooner, he would have been something good in the R&B sector. Possibly. If not famous, something behind the scenes. Buster is an artist, but he was born in a very foundational Black American dominant New York culture. And he was immersed in that environment. And the talent of music gene that he already possessed expressed itself through the culture, through Black culture as expressed in New York City. That's all. So that's what it comes down to. But it was cool because like when I saw I got some Denise Williams playing. Man, Denise Williams and Maurice White, that combination right there. Y'all know she had Earth and the Fire backing her. That's Larry Dunn on keyboard, Verdine White on bass. Yep. But nah, it was like at the concert yesterday, man, Nas came out, and then Jadakiss came out, Method and Red came out, Mary J. Blige came out, and LL Cool J came out. That shit was so goddamn dope. That shit was so dope. And like, I was surprised. Tashida's seats were way down the front, and I was in the middle. But y'all know the bowl seat 18,000. Going way back, it take a mile to get to the back of that motherfucker. The middle is a goddamn half mile back. And she came. We talked for a while. Talked after the show. So cool. Then I got to see my man Jado, my boy James. His name is James Smith, aka Jado. He's a producer, and he's been producing music and doing beats for Busta Rhymes for a long time, and other artists. We was in marching band together in high school. James was always cool as hell. And to see him last night at the show, that shit was so goddamn dope, man. Like to see your old high school friends, to see them where they wanted to be. When we was in band together, James would just pick up an instrument and start playing it. The nigga knew how to play the tuba, the drums, the piano, the trumpet, the bass, whatever instrument. Our band teacher's name was Mr. Hanky. Yeah, he looked like, if you just imagine what somebody named Mr. Hanky looks like. That's how that white motherfucker looked. He looked like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead, in real honesty though. If I was gonna compare Mr. Hanky to anybody, I'd say Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. I'd say that. Mr. Hanky. Anyway, James, whatever instrument they threw in his face, he could play it. So to see him at the bowl last night with Buster rhyming over music that he put together for him was just dope. Yeah. What y'all talking about? Y'all know the sample? Isaac Hayes is a cold motherfucker. That's my mind's playing tricks on me. What's up, Deep Impressions? Yeah, man. Yeah, hit me up for a reading. I had some readings today that was just dope, man. Readings be giving me energy. I read some people's, and I love reading relationships, man. And also, if you have kids, I can read the relationship between you and your children. How to, one you gotta talk to one kid different than the other. You may need some clarity in your communication between your two children, and like how you may have one child that you talk to this way, and y'all get along together, and you and the other child y'all don't get along together. We can break those dynamics down. You know. You say you grew up around. Yeah, you say you grew up in the Bronx. Jamaicans didn't play no damn hip hop, and there's nothing wrong with that. They were playing the music of their culture. It's just to come back 50 years later and try to change the story. That's the problem. Busta just be 100. Just be real, bruh. Just be real. Just because your family was born in Jamaica or you were born in Jamaica don't mean you were expressing Jamaican culture through hip hop. No. It means you were expressing hip hop through your point of view. But you were expressing hip hop, not Jamaican culture. If you were expressing Jamaican culture, you would have had at least one song called Bumba Clot, Bumba Clot, Bumba Clot. Or one album called Blood Clot, Bumba Clot or some shit. One she knows something, something, something. That Bumba Clot be something tough as hell too. You thinking everybody that speak patois got hands. But you don't be seeing no Jamaican heavyweight champions. But Trevor Burbick was the last one. But that patois be sounding tough as hell. Yeah. And I watched Busta. Busta had a great performance. I can separate my personal feelings from somebody's political point of views. I do it all the time. I went to go see Common last summer. I can't stand Common's political point of views. That nigga's political point of views is weird as fuck. Oh, Democrat ass nigga. But if he's gonna be in town performing, I'm gonna go watch him because I love his music. I ain't gotta like your politics or like your music. Most of the musicians is coons. There was coons in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 50s, and the 40s, and the 30s. It was a few that stood up and stood out, like always. It was always just a few that stood up and stood out. That's why them niggas was wearing goddamn conks and perms and shit. Fried dye laid to the side. They weren't happy with being black. They wanted to be as close to white they can get. It was only a few that was standing out against the shit, like it is now. Ain't shit changed. That was a conversation my grandfather had with me about 6 months before he died. It was just before he turned 98. I asked him, I said, Poppy, as you get closer to 98 years old, what have you learned? Like, what's changed? He said, ain't nothing changed. He said, ain't nothing changed since the 20s. I said, you remember the 1920s? He said, shit, yeah, I remember the 20s. I remember 1929. And he started talking about some shit them white supremacists was doing where he lived. Seeing him when he was, because in 1929 he was 5. He had memories of the 30s, and the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, and 20s. That's how far my grandfather never lost his memory. When he died, it's because he fell and like he hit his head. He fell or something like that. But his body was shutting down. Like I remember I was listening to my last conversation with him. I got to record it. He was talking about like how he couldn't move. He could only move one side of his body, and the way he was sleeping, it was real awkward. And I remember feeling so bad for him because it was really tough for him to get a good, comfortable night of sleep because of like his muscles were starting to shut down. He couldn't move as much. He's 98 years old. He wasn't moving. He couldn't move as much, and so when he fell and bumped his head, that man had brain. He had a bleeding brain, and do you know at 98 years old, he's still healed from that? He was losing his memory, and after about 7 days, after he bumped his head, his memory started coming back. He remembered his birthday. He told me another story about Nat King Cole when he was friends with Nat King Cole. He was coming back after bumping his head at 98 years old. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. When my grandfather stopped cooking as much, the last 20 years of his life, 15, 20 years, all he really ate was Fatburger, Popeye's chicken, Church's chicken. He didn't really fuck with McDonald's. And then he would cook. He would still cook a little bit, but he was slowing down so he couldn't cook as much. The last 5 years my grandfather was living, this nigga was eating the Hong Kong Express Chinese, rice and beef and broccolis and shit, and all that shit they tell us we shouldn't eat. The last 10 years of his life, and was still cooking. And he was still recovering from brain bleeding at 98 years old. The only reason why he passed away was because his roommate got COVID and he got it. And I was with him the last day. And he was starting to really get sick. I was with him. But I said that to say, why did I bring that up? My grandfather, when I asked him, what's changed since you were a child? He said nothing. He said, I really thought, he said, no, because he was that Roosevelt generation. His generation, like when he got the vote, His first time voting was for Roosevelt. And he really liked Roosevelt. And then he saw Truman and he saw Eisenhower and Kennedy. And I remember I asked him when he stopped voting. He stopped voting when he voted for Nixon. He said Nixon was when he stopped voting, because that's when he realized that shit was all a game. When he did all that shit for Nixon, and Nixon ended up motherfucking stealing from the country. But my grandfather said, we done had all these motherfuckers, the white ones, the black ones, all the shit stays the same. And every 4 years, they got you thinking something's gonna change. He said it's not. He said it ain't never changed. He basically was like, God damn, that's the slowest police car I ever heard in my life. Whoever that police is running, that's an ambulance. Well, whoever the fuck, whatever hospital that ambulance is going to, that person about to die. That nigga still ain't made a left. God damn. If your family is in the ambulance right now, y'all might got a lawsuit. This nigga going 17 miles an hour with no traffic. Well, anyway, my grandfather was telling me, ain't shit changed. They every 4 years they just sell you hope. I was like, well, race ain't nothing changed? He was like, the only thing that changed in the last, he said, I've been living in this house since 1955. And mind you, we're talking in 2022. Like February 2022 is when we had this conversation. He said, the only thing that's changed is when I bought this house, this neighborhood was white. I bought this house from a doctor. He said, they built that 110 freeway a couple years later, and the neighborhood was black for a while. But for the last 30 years, this neighborhood been Mexicans, and now some white people are coming back. He said, that's the only change I've seen here at this house since 1955. It was white when I bought here. It was black for a while, and it's been nothing but Mexicans for the last 20 some odd years, 20, 30 years. And now a few white people are coming in. He said it's the same shit. And that was one of the last lessons my grandfather taught me. He always said it, but the way he broke it down that day really, really brought life to the situation for me. Yeah. Positive info say you just knew racism was real by the time you was an adult. Hell yeah. That's what they've led us to believe. This propaganda mill that we're in. That racism is a thing of the past. It's something what the old people deal with. That's what they led us to believe. Yeah, man. But I'm about to get the fuck on out of here. Get my t-shirts and shit, y'all. And my book. Tell it like it is, The Art of Love and Communication. I'm out.